Hey, what is up everyone? Today I'm taking a look at the high-grade Gundam M91, and if you've never heard of it before, well, neither had I. So I might as well start out this video by explaining this mobile suit a little bit in case you don't know about this. Like I mentioned, I did not either. As you can tell from the color of the box, this is p-bandai only, so this video right here would not have been possible without those awesome people over at BUYEE. Every time I look for stuff on BUYEE, I'm pretty much guaranteed to find it. The price might be a little bit on the high side, I'm not sure how much this cost, I'll pop it up on the screen right now, but you're definitely sure to find it whether on Rakuten, Mercari, or Yahoo Shopping. I always find things most of the time. I got this in a big batch of other premium Bandai kits. I recommend shopping from the same shop because it will save you a lot of money on postage and packaging. But either way, a lot of these will not be cheap, and this one wasn't either. These are getting rarer and rarer, so a little harder to find as the days and years go by. Anyway, to explain the actual suit itself, the Gundam M91 is from the manga, like it says on the front of the box right there, Gundam Build Fighters Amazing Ready. So we've seen some mobile suits from this before. If I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, that is the Schwarzritter, the Hainu Gundam Vrabe, or is it Vrabe? Can't remember anymore. And one we looked at recently, which was the Tall Strike Gundam Glitter. The pilot of this suit is Julian Mackenzie. We would have seen him in the actual TV series anime of Gundam Build Fighters. We saw him face off against Meijin Kawaguchi III in his amazing Exia, and that particular mobile suit he used that time was the F91 Gundam F91 Imagine. So this right here is essentially the upgraded version of that. It is the M91. So if you do know about this kit, there's one thing you'll definitely know about, and that is this kit has some of the worst color separation high grade has that came out in recent years. This is from 2018. It is based on the recent version of the high grade Gundam F91, which I reviewed recently, which is a very nice kit, a very, very nice kit. So this is a little bit of a shame that it couldn't quite pull off what it needed to pull off. There's a lot of stickers in here, so I decided to do some painting on it while testing out some Gundam markers. Now this set right here is the Gundam Marker Basic Set. So what we've gotten here is a gunmetal silver, white, yellow, red, and blue, the typical Gundam colors. I use the red. It does not, I repeat, does not match the red on this kit. The red on this kit is a completely different shade. I thought I might be able to match them up. Maybe a flat top coat would fix the issue between the two, but they still look quite different. I'll also mention that I don't really recommend from trying these to use Gundam markers on large surfaces of area. Or should I even say large areas of surface? They're hard to kind of layer on top of each other. They're a bit on the thick side, so they do tend to pool in areas if you're not careful, but they do cover a lot of space quickly, and if you, are using them the way that they usually are used, which is to touch up stress marks, damaged areas, and stuff like that, things will look fine, but to cover big areas, they are not the greatest. I recommend sticking to sprays and probably an airbrush. I wouldn't know about that. Don't have one. But if you do want to help out and help me get one, there's a link to the Patreon and the channel memberships down there in the description. That's next on the list, by the way. But yeah, in the end, after some Gundam marker coloring in, some spraying with Citadel's Chaos Black Primer, which I use for blacks on everything because I love this paint, and using some more Citadel paints to color in the gold sections, this is what I ended up with. I did not do some of the skirting armor that is meant to be in orange because it looked a little bit too difficult to do with a Gundam marker. I was going to try using a brush with them, and I did, and I forgot that these are alcohol based, so I just ruined the brush. Either way, this is what we're working with today. Now let's check it out. So anyway, there is absolutely everything you get in the box once you snap it all together, and then some. Basically what we get in here is the high-grade Gundam M91 itself, the beam rifle, one sick killer lance, that is known as the M-Lance. We've got two alternate hands in here, an alternate face, very F91 style, and finally then we've got all of those stickers. So just in case you want to be painting this up for yourself, you're going to need a lot of red, light orange, white, black, and gold. But anyway, as usual, we're going to jump right into the looks of the M91 itself. So anyway, there's what the high-grade Gundam M91 looks like out of the box after snap building, some hand painting, some marker building, and some top coat. So a lot of extra effort compared to what you normally need with a high grade to get it up to scratch. But before I talk about how it looks, I'm going to read some of the blurb from the manual for those of you who aren't that familiar with this particular mobile suit. And according to this, the Gundam M91 is the gunpla used by Julian Mackenzie, England's representative during the 8th Gunpla Battle World Championship. The M in the gunpla's name was adapted from the Mackenzie family name. It was assembled to upgrade the concept of the F91 Imagine, which Mackenzie used in the past. Also, the number of VSBRs, which are its main firearms, have increased to 4 from 2, and its MEPE function, creating after images with mass, is still capable. Its newly created M-Lance is the machine's main armament and has astounding penetrating capabilities that can't be seen in ordinary spears. We also have a bit of a blurb on its battle style, and it says right here that the VSBRs are used to shoot powerful beams in long-range battles. They're able to fire up to 4 massive beams, coming in handy to limit enemy movement. The gigantic M-Lance is used to finish off enemies by repeating high-speed charges followed by devastating blows to destroy them. Attacks using the M-Lance have a weakness of being linear, leading to enemies reading the machine's movements, but this can be covered simultaneously by using the MEPE to create body doubles. It is impossible for enemies to evade multiple M91s charging from all directions at once. Now that is a pretty badass ability right there. F91, overpowered. Also, in case you're curious as to what I did to this particular model kit right here, I used the standard red Gundam marker on the red sections, which does not match the color at all. It is a little too shiny, a little too glossy, and a little bit too vibrant. I used the yellow marker for the orange sections, and because it was yellow over red, it worked out pretty good. The rest of the colors then, I just used Citadel's Chaos Black on the black section, Retributor Armor Gold on the gold sections, some Mechanicus Standard Grey up on the clavicle sections, and then top coated it all with a flat matte top coat. I will also mention that because this is based on the 2013 version of the high-grade Gundam F91, there are some Gundam F91 parts in here. However, there is not enough to build a red F91 Imagine, mainly because the original chest of the F91 is not included in this kit, nor is the V-fin and some other parts of the head. However, if you did get both kits, you could kit bash something that looks a little bit something like that F91 Imagine, but hey, a bit of red paint on the F91 would probably do a better job, honestly. But it is worth noting we do have a few leftover parts in here. So anyway, jumping onto that full 360-degree spin, and what can I say? If you ignore the color separation, which of course you shouldn't, yeah, the color separation is extremely bad in this kit. Based on the design, that is. The F91 doesn't have a whole lot of colors per se, so it makes sense that this kit can't be so color accurate without some more extra parts, but yeah, that's just making excuses for it. The color separation is bad. But besides that, this is an incredible design right here. Man, this blows my mind. This is the king of the V-fins. I don't know, the Astray Red Dragon might have a big blazing V-fin, but this one is so kick-ass. Who designed this? So anyway, jumping on to the next section of the review and back to the beginning, here is everything that comes in the box. So let's check out all of these accessories one by one. So when it comes to the hands we've got included in here, first off we've only got the standard holding style hands. Next up we've got those holding hands that we saw with the F91, because these are the ones from the F91. These look like standard holding hands at first, but if you turn them around you can see that there is a little slot between the fingers for the beam rifle to go through, and speaking of which, that right there is the beam rifle, and this is the exact same beam rifle we would have seen with the F91. Very nicely detailed, 2 colors. That is the white and the grey, and just like you guys told me, and I didn't actually know with the last version that I looked at, which was the F91, you can actually move this lower handle down here if you snip it off from the main section before putting on the armor. That is a pretty cool hidden feature. What it says in the manual is, this is the same beam rifle model adapted for the F91. It has great rapid fire capabilities. So now jumping onto the M-Lance, and besides the black and gold sections that I painted on this, everything else is its actual original color with a little bit of black panel lining and some flat matte top coat. So once again, this does look phenomenal, but it is a shame about those gold and black parts. This is made up from the F91's bazooka primarily, and instead of being a bazooka, it is now a big old lance. There are 2 handles on this. The rear one you will be holding with the standard holding hand, the front wider handle that you'll be using a beam rifle holding hand to hold. It holds in place well and looks awesome. And as for what it says in the blurb about this, the lance was assembled using parts from a Knight figurine's lance, which had been passed down throughout the Mackenzie's family. Its tip can generate a small electric shock which can weaken enemy particle fields. The tip can also rotate for more penetrating power. The emblem section is simultaneously a small shield and a beam shield emitter. So it seems like it's one hell of a lance. Just like with the Gundam F91 and its beam launcher, you're able to attach this onto the butt flap by removing this little segment, attaching on this little locking part right here. Then you can stick the lance onto that like so, and it locks into place. And you may or may not want to leave a spare hand hanging on it like that, but that right there is what it looks like. Jumping back to the instructions for another little blurb, and we've got the heat radiation system. The face mask opens to radiate heat. It can be used as an attack in close range. So just like the F91, the M91 generates a whole bunch of heat and needs to let it go. So in order to do this, it's a very simple swap of the neck and face section, and we end up with this absolutely awesome looking variant, once again, just like with the F91. As for the other couple of weapons that are on board, we've got the booster gauntlet. Equipped on the left arm, it includes a booster to quickly thrust the M-Lance. There are 3 Vulcan cannons built into the front section, which are used to intercept missiles. And of course we've got the VSBR, which is also the Vesper. And although I've been calling them the VSBRs through the whole thing, I can see right here in the katakana it's Vespers, and the normal Vespers have been moved to the waist. A new unit has been added to the back, which normally functions as thrusters. This multifunctional compound unit can be unfolded to create wings of light, and can also be opened up in front of the mobile suit to be used as Vespers. A total of 4 powerful beams can be fired. Now this is pretty cool. So basically we've got some swing forward smaller Vespers that attack in tandem with the big old ones down bottom. So anyway, a bit of a quick note on the articulation on this kit. I'm not going to go through it all because it is 100% identical to the high-grade Gundam F91. So if you want to see more about what the articulation is like, you can check out that review. It's just as good as that kit was. There's a little bit more clashing at the front skirting armor, but besides that, it is great, and you'll see some poses right now at the end. Anyway, that right there is it for the review, and this is an interesting aspect right here, and it's kind of where I feel sometimes that my grading system fails a little bit. This kit right here is bronze tier, because out of the box it just is not up to scratch. The colors just aren't, well, acceptable for 2018 standards. They're just, well, it's missing tons and tons and tons of colors where it needs them, but besides that, it's the same level as the F91 is. If this was fully color accurate, this would be a gold tier kit, but it isn't, so that brings it all the way down to bronze. Aesthetically, it looks phenomenal, ignoring the fact that the color separation isn't as good as it could be. Accessories wise, we've got some cool accessories in here, same as the F91, except the bazooka launcher thingamajig is now a big, massive, awesome lance that, once again, could be better if it had the color separation. And the articulation here is great as well. It's solid as a rock, will not fall apart, and it has that big, killer ultimate V-fin. Once again, if you're into painting your kits and detailing them up yourself, then you will absolutely adore this. If you're just a straight builder, you might want to give it a pass. Anyway, I got mine through BUYEE, you can too. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more gunpla reviews, and I will see you next time. Once again, thank you so much just for watching this video. To everyone who's just watched this channel could not be here without you. On top of that, extra thanks to those of you who are supporting on the channel memberships as well as over on Patreon, including Bakito Official, Van Fawn, Sean T, Caleb Engelhart, Brian Perez, Tyler Sanders, and Craig Jerry.